entertainment, sports, news, and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
The President of the United States is trying to move this process forward in what I think is a thoughtful and focused, disciplined way, so that we have a structure in Iraq which will give the greatest capacity for success. And the President reserves the right to use force, as he does anywhere in the world, if it is necessary, but he wants to do so, if he were having to do so, and it was the decision he ultimately made, with knowledge that there's a government in place that can actually follow through and guarantee that what the United States is working towards can actually be achieved.
All right, welcome back, folks. John Kerry speaking today, talking about the fact that bombing would not be right at this time. Military action would not be right at this time. We're talking to this party, we're talking to that party, we're talking to the people, we're talking to the allies, talking. John Kerry also told Fox News, and I want to quote here, that nobody expected Iraqi security forces to be driven out by ISIS earlier this month in Mosul. So, you know, there were warnings. There were warnings from many different people and many different groups. Joining us now to talk about all of this and Iran, which is a big elephant in the room, always is, and especially with regards to Iraq, is Banafsheh Zand, Iranian-born political analyst and human rights activist. Hello, great to see you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, John Kerry, what he had to say today, and in your view, what's being done or what's not being done by the United States.
Well, as usual, they don't deal with the causes, they deal with the symptoms. And so the bottom line is that anybody for now or any time who thinks that the Iranian regime has anything to offer in terms of solutions, that they would actually be good partners to deal with this problem is really misinformed and doesn't want to deal with the reality of Iran. Iran has actually been one of the main instigators of this problem. They have been the people, the force that basically has done whatever it could in terms of creating a proxy war, attacking Sunnis. They have done since the 80s. When they were, you know, creating various little pockets of infighting inside Saudi Arabia. Then throughout the years, with the various proxies that they've had in Yemen, throughout Bahrain, the Gulf countries, and so forth. And so, at this point, this has become a situation where it has nowhere to go but to become a fully confrontational clash and a you know, straightforward Sunni-Shia sectarian war. That said, the bottom line is that I don't see how really putting more boots on the ground will help, because ultimately ISIS has now somehow coalesced with the Saddam Hussein Baathists, and though that's a very misguided thing for the Baathists, for the Hussein supporting Baathists to agree to and to get involved. ISIS is very much the Sunni counterpart to the Shia Iran. Nouri al-Maliki, which is practically, let's say for all intents and purposes, is the marionette that belongs to the Iranian regime, and the various US-backed Shia groups that basically have managed to take power were never meant to create a situation where they pushed the Sunnis to so far out of the power structure that now ultimately here we are. Iran is once again getting what it wants, which is the fight to go on, the sectarian Shia-Sunni war to go on. And Obama, as usual, doesn't know what on earth is, which end is up, and they're not responding to the situation. They should never have pulled the troops out to begin with.
All right, well, you talk about, Banafsheh, you talk about the Sunni Shiite, sectarian violence, and that's what we're seeing, and that was inevitable. And yet, this administration talks about, well, it has to end. Iraq has to be a more inclusive government, as if even if that were to happen, it's going to solve the sectarian conflict, which, it's impossible to solve that conflict. It's like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, no one, so how naive or dishonest is it for this administration to use that as, a pretense before they take any action when they know that that can't happen?
Right, and that's what I meant when I said that they're treating the symptoms and not the cause. The bottom line is that they aren't really peeling back the layers of animosity and really dealing with the bottom line history of this situation. They're not addressing the fact that the Iranian regime, for example, has been the main instigator of this fight, and they basically don't want to deal with the fact that you can't put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You really have to sit down and deal with every single faction and understand where the problem is and how it could be addressed and exposed. But the Obama administration has proven that it simply does not have the tools to deal with Iran, to address to explain and expose the reality of the Iranian regime. So when somebody like Rouhani is elected in Iran, or elected, I should say, with
right,
quotes,
quote unquote, yeah.
They think that that's the answer, that somehow is...
Right, he's a big moderate.
Yeah, that he's a big moderate. But the reality is that as long as you have Khamenei and the supreme leader in Iran, you will always have the counterpoint to Al-Qaeda. Everybody talks about Al-Qaeda being the big bad terrorist organization, whereas whereas Hezbollah and anything that is backed, for Jaish al-Mahdi, any faction, let's say, that is dealing with the backing of the Iranian regime, for that matter, is just as bad. They're two halves of the same coin. And the bottom line is that, unfortunately, the way I see it, the situation's gotten to the point where I honestly am of the opinion that however bloody the situation is going to get, it's a situation that is going to have to play out in the way it is.
Well, let me ask you. We know that Iran was already in Iraq.
Yes.
So tell me what their ultimate goal is. What would they like to see? Where would they like this to end? How?
Well, let me sort of give you a little bit of a history about the Iran-Iraq War. During the Iran-Iraq War, one of the commander of the Iranian military, the commander Rezai, at the time during the late 80s, because Khomeini himself wasn't pro-nukes, Rezai basically wrote a set of letters to Khomeini saying that, look, in order for us to be able to gain access to Jerusalem, we have to go through Iraq. And therefore, several other mullahs like Rafsanjani recommend that we need to develop our nuclear capabilities, at which point then Khomeini gave his blessings. And I'm giving it all to you in a nutshell.
No, that's okay, yeah, for time
reasons,
yeah.
But the thing is that ultimately when you look at it, the fact is that the Iranian regime's intention, its entire goal and focus from day one has been to be the Islamic pole. They consider themselves as the proxy of Muhammad. They see themselves as the people who are the standard bearers, if you will, of the 12th Imam, and that they have to prepare the world for the arrival of the Mahdi, of their version of the Messiah. So this is all a part of that in order to quash the Sunni and bring the Sunni under the banner of the 12th Imam and the Shia is their motive. And the fact of the matter is that there is no dealing with these people in any way other than to basically let what is there to play out, however ugly and horrifying it sounds, and it will be ugly and horrifying. But you know, Obama lost the window of 2009, letting the Iranian people bring the Iranian regime down.
Absolutely. And that was
we had every opportunity to bring that regime down. The regime was on its knees. It was completely frightened.
Right.
It was entirely possible to topple the you know, the Islamic regime.
It started from the beginning, not to interrupt, but we're up against the clock, Banafsheh Zand, and it started from the beginning of his first administration, and the mistakes have piled up right through, and many believe it has led us to where we are now. Thank you for your expertise and your interesting conversation. Appreciate it as always. All right, folks, we're coming back right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. You know what time it is. It's Gimme 5 time, so don't go away. Steve Malzberg, right here on Newsmax Television.